So in previous classes, we had a study about innate immunity, right? Okay. So I have told you about some barriers that are present in innate immunity. What are the barriers that are present in innate immunity?
Physical barrier, then physiological barrier, cellular barrier, cytokine barrier.
And what is the full form of PMNL?
Polymorphonuclear. Polymorphonuclear. Yeah, polymorphonuclear.
L for what about L?
Like leukocyte.
Polymorphonuclear leukocyte. And what is the another name of PMNL?
Another name of
PMNL.
neutrophils.
Neutrophil. Good.
Neutrophils.
And in cytokine barriers, we had studied about one chemical. What is the name of chemical? That is also
Interferon.
visible on a screen. Inter
Interferon.
interferons. And what is the function of interferons?
When a cell gets infected, it prevents the adjacent cell from getting infected by the
Cell
virus.
get infected from what? Bacteria, virus, protozoa,
Virus,
virus. Okay.
virus.
Okay. So these are the barriers that provides innate immunity. And today we will study about acquired immunity, right?
Yes.
So in previous classes, I have told you about some features of acquired immunity. What is acquired immunity?
Uh,
It is present since birth or this is acquired
no,
during
after
lifetime?
during lifetime it is acquired, and then it's memory based.
Very good. So it is memory based immunity, right? It is memory based immunity. And this is not present since birth.
But
Since birth. Okay. And basically, the cells that will help in this acquired immunity is B cell, B lymphocyte, and T lymphocyte. Okay. So in acquired immunity, two specific cells will be there that will help in this acquired immunity, and this is B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. Have you any idea about this B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte?
very, uh, I know the B lymphocyte produces proteins and
What?
something like that. B lymphocyte like produces protein, something like that.
Protein?
Yeah,
What type of proteins are there that produce antibodies? It is another thing that
and
nature of antibodies are proteinaceous. We will, but we will not say that it will produce protein. It will produce what? Antibody. Okay. So depending upon that, we will again classify this acquired immunity into two types. One is called humoral immunity and another one is cell mediated immunity, right? So there are basically two types of acquired immunity. One is humoral immunity, or immunity is also called antibody mediated immunity, right? So we can classify this acquired immunity into two types. This question is asked in board examination also. Acquired immunity. This is humoral immunity. Humoral means body fluids. Okay, body fluid, and basically the antibody will be present in blood, and with the help of that antibody, we will gain this immunity. So this is called humoral immunity. And the another type of immunity is with the help of cells, especially T lymphocyte, and that is called cell mediated immunity. And in short, this cell mediated immunity is also called CMI. CMI. So what is the full form of this CMI? What will you
cell
say?
mediated immunity.
Cell mediated immunity. And basically this humoral immunity is with the help of what? Antibody. Okay, so this is also called antibody mediated immunity. And this antibody mediated immunity, in short, it is called AMI. So this is same. Humoral immunity is also called antibody mediated immunity because antibody will help in this immunity. And since this antibody are present in blood, so this immunity is also called humoral immunity. Is it clear to you? So what are the two types of acquired immunity? What will you say?
Humoral immunity, cell-mediated immunity.
Yeah, good,
Humoral immunity is also known as antibody-mediated immunity, AMS.
good. And cell mediated immunity, this will be with the help of, you can say, this will be with the help of T lymphocyte. T lymphocyte. Now, before discussing these two types, we will study about primary response and secondary response. Okay. So when we get infected from microbes, suddenly it may be natural infections or it may be vaccine mediated infection, and our body will produce response for the first time, and this is called what? Primary response. And when our body responds the same pathogen second time, that is called secondary response. Is it clear to you? So there are basically two type of response that we will study in this topic. One is called primary response, and generally when first time our body is facing these microbes, so the immunity or the response that will be produced, it will be of low intensity. Okay, and it will be you can say the intensity is also low, and it will be slow process. But the when our body second time again it will respond the same pathogen, yeah, same microbes, our body will produce secondary response, and that secondary response is also called anamnestic response, and it will be of high intensity. Okay, and this will be second time our response will be fast or so slow. What do you think? Second time
Fast.
fast. Okay, so this is primary response, and you can say that it is of low intensity. It is of low intensity. And if you want to write the definition, then you can write it is of low intensity response given by body when it encounters, means face, a pathogen for the first time. For the first time. And second one is secondary response. So basically, we will discuss in this topic two type of response. One is called primary response, and second one is secondary response. So secondary response, you can say, it is highly intensified. Okay. So in secondary response, we can write that it is highly intensified response, which is evoked by the subsequent encounters with the same pathogen. So is it clear to you? Suppose that when some pathogen attacks our body for the first time, the response given by our body for the first time, it is called primary response. Okay, and primary response is of slow intensity. Okay, but once our body because we will study that it is, since it is memory based immunity, so for the first time when pathogen attacks our body, it produces antibody that fight against that pathogen, and again the memory cell will be produced, and that memory cell will memorizes the nature of the pathogen. So for the second time, when the same microbes will attack our body, the memory B cell or T cell will memorizes the first encounter, and it will produce a huge amount of antibody, and the response given by is called is secondary response. And since our body becomes habituated of this microbe, so this will be of high intensity. Is it clear to you? So you have to learn that primary response is of slow intensity, while the secondary response is of high intensity. Primary response is given by our body when our body faces or encounters the microbes for the first time, and secondary response is given by our body when same pathogen attacks our body, and the response that is given by our body is called secondary response. Is it clear to you? And secondary response is also called anamnestic response. So you can say that it is also called anamnestic response. Anamnestic response. Is it clear to you? And again, you will say, we will repeat that this primary or secondary response is given by B lymphocyte, and what is another lymphocyte? T lymphocytes. So you can write this primary and secondary response is given by two special type of lymphocyte. We will discuss about it. Special types of lymphocytes. And the lymphocytes are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. Okay. So what is this B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte? This is WBC, you know. What is the full form of WBC?
White blood cells.
White blood cells and white blood corpuscles. Both are same. Okay. So this B lymphocyte will produce antibodies. Okay. So this B lymphocyte produces antibodies and T lymphocyte will help B lymphocyte. T lymphocyte will help B lymphocyte to produce antibody. Is it clear to you? So the production of antibody is the function of which type of lymphocyte?
B lymphocyte.
B lymphocyte. But how B lymphocyte will produce this antibodies? With the help of
T lymphocyte.
T lymphocyte. Is it clear to you? So you can write T lymphocyte helps B lymphocyte to produce antibodies. So the function of B and T lymphocyte is clear to you. Okay. B lymphocyte will produce antibodies and T lymphocyte will help B lymphocyte to produce antibodies. Okay. So without T lymphocyte, B lymphocyte will not be able to produce antibodies. Is it clear to you? So these are basically the function of B lymphocyte and T lymphocytes. Okay. Now, we will study about antibody mediated immunity. Okay. So antibody mediated immunity. And antibody mediated immunity is also called
humoral immunity.
humoral immunity. Good. This question is asked in board examination also. Antibody mediated immunity or humoral mediated immunity. Humoral immunity simply. So antibody mediated immunity will take place with the help of what? Antibody. So now the question is, what is antibody? Okay, one structure is given in your NCRT also. Once look at that structure, that is the structure of antibody. So antibody mediated immunity, it is with the help of antibody which fight against antigen. Fight against what? Fight against what? Antigen. So now here is two word. One is called antibody and another one is antigen. So what is antigen? Have you any idea about antigen? Yes or no? Antigen. Anti for antibody and gen for generation. Okay. So the substance that will help in generation of antibody is called antigen. Is it clear to you? So in short, it is called antibody generating substance. So these are the substance, or you can say substance or microbes or pathogen that helps in production of antibody generation. So antigen, in short, it is for antibody generating substance. Is it clear to you? So if we discuss about the nature of this antigen, it may be protein, it may be lipid, or it may be polysaccharides. Is it clear to you? These are the things that you had studied in biomolecules. Okay. So antigen may be proteinaceous in nature, it may be lipid in nature, or it may be what? Polysaccharide in nature. And antigen, antigens are also present in our body. Okay. So the antigen that is present in our body is called self-antigen. And the substance that comes from outside, that is called foreign antigen. Is it clear to you? So antigen is of two types. It may be self-antigen or it may be non-self-antigen. Or non-self-antigen is called foreign antigen. This is clear to you? Antigen may be self-antigen, it may be non-self-antigen, and the non-self-antigen is called foreign antigen. So our body has got the ability to differentiate between self-antigen and non-self-antigen. Is it clear to you? So body has got the ability to differentiate between self-antigen and what? Non-self-antigen. And generally our body produces response or produces antibody against what? Non-self antigen. Is it clear to you? So simply we can write that our body can differentiate. Body means immune system. Can differentiate between self and non-self antigen. And it produces antibody against non-self antigen. So generally our body produces response, or you can say antibodies against non-self antigen or self antigen.
Non-self.
Non-self antigen. Suppose that in case our body is not able to differentiate between self and non-self antigen, then what will happen? Our own body cell will respond against, produce antibodies against self antigen. And again, in our body, our antigen is also destroyed, self antigen is also destroyed, and there will be immune response against self antigen. And if it happens, then we may suffer from autoimmune disease. Auto means self, immune means the immunity has developed against the self antigen. Okay, so our body can discriminate between self antigen and non self antigen generally. Okay, so generally our body will produce response against non self antigen, and it will recognize the self antigen, and it do not produce any immunity against what? Generally, in general case, it will not produce any immune response against the self antigen. Okay, so one more thing is there, that is called autoimmune disease.
So if body doesn't differentiate between self antigen and non-self antigen, it will attack self antigen, and then it won't be able to produce the antibody to prevent. I mean,
No. Our body has ability to differentiate between self and non-self antigen. Okay, our
if it
body
doesn't,
our body recognizes self antigen, and
okay.
uh, besides the self antigen, whether another antigen will be present, then our body will consider it as foreign antigen, and our body will produce immune response or antibody against that foreign antigen. Is it clear to you? So this is the
If our body doesn't differentiate, then what will happen?
why.
Between
If our body doesn't differentiate, then autoimmune disease will take place. Is it clear to you? Auto means self, immune means immunity, and disease. So
the
when
immune
it,
system will become weak if it doesn't
yeah,
differentiate.
and there will be very difficult in getting rid of this disease, autoimmune disease, because your body is working against your cell only.
Self.
Okay, so this is very dangerous disease, autoimmune disease. When our body does not differentiate, does not differentiate between self antigen and non self antigen. And immunity will develop against self antigen. Immune response will be generated against what? Foreign antigen or self antigen?
Self.
Self antigen. It may be due to genetic disease or some other factor may be responsible for this. So immune response will be generated against self antigen. And what will happen in that case? Autoimmune disease will take place. And so many examples are there of autoimmune disease. Have you any idea about? Name some autoimmune disease. This is very important for NEET also. Autoimmune disease. Okay. So you have to learn or memorize the example of autoimmune disease. So many diseases are there, that is autoimmune disease. One is in class 11th, you have studied about myasthenia gravis in muscular movement and locomotion. Myasthenia gravis. This is an autoimmune disease. Okay. Chronic hepatitis. Hepatitis, you know, liver is affected. Hepatitis. hepatitis. And diabetes, there are two type of diabetes, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Okay, so type 1 diabetes is called insulin dependent diabetes. It is juvenile onset diabetes that will take you can say it occurs generally the person below the age of 20 years of age group, you can say. So that is called type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes. And this is also called insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. And in short, you can write is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Is it clear to you? This is also called juvenile onset diabetes. Juvenile, less than 20 years of age. Infant, juvenile, and then adult. So many phases are there of life, na? Though this is juvenile onset diabetes. And this diabetes is also autoimmune disease. What is diabetes?
Uh,
What is diabetes?
I don't have what is the exact definition, but I don't know.
Diabetes actually when blood sugar level increases. Blood, in case in our blood, glucose or sugar level is increased, then it's called diabetes mellitus. Okay, so there are two type of diabetes mellitus. It may be due to less secretion of insulin. Insulin, that is pancreatic hormone, and insulin promotes uptake of glucose from the blood. Suppose that when insulin secretion is low or insulin is not secreted by pancreas, or you can say hyposecretion of insulin, then the blood glucose level, the glucose will be not uptaken by the cells, and in that case the glucose level will increase in blood, and this is called diabetes mellitus. So basically there are two type of diabetes. One is called juvenile onset diabetes. Okay, and juvenile onset diabetes, basically it is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. And in this case, insulin is basically not, insulins are not secreted from the pancreas. So when insulin are not secreted, then what will happen? The glucose will be not uptaken by the cells, and as a result glucose level will increase in blood. So this is type 1 diabetes, and it is also called insulin dependent. Why it is insulin dependent? Because insulin is not secreting. Okay. So this is insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. And another is non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus is sometimes we call it genetic also. It may be due to genetic factor. And in that case, pancreas is producing insulin, but insulin receptor is not working. Okay, so when insulin receptor will not working, it will not receive the insulin. So this is called non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, and it is also called type 2 diabetes mellitus. Okay, so type 2 diabetes mellitus is not autoimmune disease, but this type 1 diabetes mellitus is what? Autoimmune disease. Is it clear to you? And one more you have studied in that movement and locomotion, that is rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis. In rheumatoid arthritis, joint pain. Okay. And this is also autoimmune disease. One factor is there that is called IgM factor. And in this inflammation of joint occurs. This is called rheumatoid arthritis. And rheumatoid arthritis is also the example of autoimmune disease. So what is the example of autoimmune disease? Myasthenia gravis, chronic hepatitis, type 1 diabetes mellitus, है ना? And second is, next is rheumatoid arthritis. Is it clear to you? You have to just learn these names. Especially this has been given in class 11th in CRT also. So you have to memorize about this myasthenia gravis and rheumatoid arthritis. I think this disease name has been also given in your NCRT. Is it there or not? NCRT.
And 12th and no, it's
Oh, I think in 12th NCRT, autoimmune disease is there. Okay, is it there or not? Autoimmune disease, autoimmunity.
not excellent.
And what is the example of autoimmune disease?
Rheumatoid arthritis. It's that one, only one is given.
Rheumatoid. Here I have written rheumatoid arthritis, and this is autoimmune disease, or this may be called autoimmunity. When immunity again develops against self antigen, then it is called what? Autoimmunity. Okay. So this is clear to you. So this is all about antigen. So now you have idea that we are also having some our own antigen like RBC. RBC, you know, red blood cells. And in blood grouping also you have studied that it may be A antigen on RBC surface, it may be B antigen, it may be AB antigen. So these are our self antigen. Suppose that the antigens that is not present in our body, it is coming outside from the body, then it is called non-self antigen. Okay. So our body generally will produce immune response against non-self antigen. Okay. And the antibody will fight against the non-self antigen. Our non-self antigen, it may be pathogen, and our immune system will work. And in case, in rare of the cases, suppose that our body is not able to differentiate between self and non-self antigen, then what will happen? Our own immunity will against work against this our own antigen. Okay. And in that case, autoimmunity or autoimmune disease will take place. And some examples of autoimmune disease here I have written, that is myasthenia gravis, chronic hepatitis, type 1 diabetes, that is also called insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, and one is rheumatoid arthritis. Is it clear to you? So this is all about antigen. Now we'll study about antibody. Antibody. So in antigen, I have written about the nature of antibody. It may be protein, it may be lipid, it may be polysaccharides. But antibody will always be what? Protein in nature. Is it clear to you? You may write the difference between antigen and antibody. Antigen, it may be protein, it may be lipid, it may be polysaccharide, but in case of antibody, it is always protein in nature. Is it clear to you? And if you will study about the structure of antibody, what is antibody? So this antibody will be produced against the antigen. This is produced against antigen. And this is the question of a board examination also, a structure of antibody. In 3 marks question also, this structure of antibody comes in your board examination. So if you see the structure of this antibody, then you will come to know that this is generally Y-shaped structure. What is the shape of antibody? Structure it will discuss about. This is Y-shaped. Okay. So you can see here. So this is visible to you, Y-shaped structure. So this is heavy chain, and this one is light chain. So how many light chain are present? Hmm? How many light chain are there? Two. One and two. Okay. And how many heavy chains are there? Two. So structure of antibody is represented as H2L2 structure. What is H2L2?
H2L2.
What is the meaning of H2L2? That
Two heavy
two,
chain.
good. Two heavy chain and two light chain. Or generally, you know that nature of antibody is proteinaceous in nature. So this is polypeptide. Its structure of antibody, it contains 4 polypeptide chain. How many polypeptide chain? Polypeptide chain for
Two.
protein. How many polypeptide chains are present here?
Four.
4.
Four.
2 heavy chain and 2 what? Light chain.
Light chain.
And this light chain and heavy chain are interlinked with the help of disulfide linkage. Sulfide linkage or disulfide linkage will be there. So you see here, this is sulfur disulfide linkage. Here also it will be disulfide linkage. And this is also disulfide linkage. Same we can construct here, disulfide linkage, disulfide linkage. Here also it is disulfide linkage, and in this also these two chains are also linked with the help of this disulfide linkage. I am writing here 2 sulfur. 2 sulfur means disulfide bond. Is it clear to you? So this chain will be stabilized by the disulfide linkage. Again here also it is disulfide linkage. So I can write here 2 heavy chain and 2 light chain are interlinked with disulfide linkage. Is it clear to you? So these chains are interlinked with the help of which type of bond?
Disulfide.
Disulfide. Okay. Now, you will come to know that there are two terminal of heavy chain as well as light chain. Terminal, N terminal and C terminal. So this end will be N terminal. Okay. And this is light chain. So here C terminal will be here. Light chain is of short length. Okay. And this is heavy chain. So here is N terminal and here will be what? C terminal. Again here you can write this is N terminal, and in light chain we will write here C terminal. Is it clear to you? So basically there are two terminal. One is called N terminal and another one is C terminal. And again you will,
Why,
yeah,
why is it called N terminal and C terminal?
terminal and C terminal. Uh, Amino acid structure. Do you know about amino acid structure? What is amino acids? You had studied in biomolecules. Carboxylic group, amine group, one hydrogen is there, one is called variable group. This is structure of amino acids, yeah, amino acids. Okay. And when polypeptide is formed from the linkage of amino acids. Okay. So amino acid will be linked and this polypeptide chain will be formed. So you know that this antibody is nothing but polypeptide chain. Is it clear to you? So polypeptide chain here it is what terminal? N. Amine for N terminal and carboxylic for what? C terminal. Is it clear to you? So N terminal means amine group will be there and C terminal will be carboxylic group or acidic group will be there. Is it clear to you? So there is two terminal, N terminal and what? C terminal. Now, again you have to study in this that this light chain and heavy chain, again this have two reasons. Two reason is there. One is called variable region, another one is called constant region. So here see. So I'm coloring it. This is called variable region and this one is constant region. So greenish portion I am writing here. What region? Variable region. This is also called fragment of ABT. This is called Fab region also. Variable region is the region from where antigen will bind. Okay, you know that against antigen antibody is produced. Okay, so this antibody will fight with the help of fight with antigen. Is it clear to you? So how this antibody will fight with antigen? So these are the sites. This is also a variable region. This is variable region. Okay, and again you see this here, this and this yellow portion is constant region. So it is what region it is? It is constant region. Okay, and constant region is also called FC, crystallizable. Okay, so this is constant region and this is variable region. So you can write that each light and heavy chain have two region. One is called variable region and another is what? Constant. Okay, and here antigen will bind. Suppose that this is antigen. Suppose that this is antigen. This is antigen. Okay, so antigen will bind with this site. Okay, so this site of antibody where antigen binds, it is called paratope. Antibody have what? Antibody have paratope. Paratope. Paratope is the site through which antigen binds. Is it clear to you? By which, or you can see through which? Yeah, simply you can, in simple word, you can write at which antigen binds. This is clear to you? So antibody have paratope. Generally, how many paratopes are here in this antibody? One paratope and this is second paratope. So generally, one antibody contain minimum how many paratopes? Two paratopes. So one antibody can bind with how many antigens? Two antigens. Very good. And what about the antigen? This is called antigen determinants. Okay. So antigen determinants means the site of antigen that will bind with the paratope. Okay. So antigen determinants, or this is also called epitope. So antibody contain paratope, and what about antigen? It contains
Epitope.
epitope. And this epitope binds with what? It binds with paratope. Is it clear to you? This is antigen antibody interaction. Here, what is the meaning of antigen and antibody interaction? Suppose that this is antibody structure. So here antigen will bind, and the antigen bind with a specific site that is called antigen determinants, or it is also called epitope. So antibody contains epitope, and antigen contain epitope, and antibody contain what? Paratope. Epitope, and antibody contains paratope. So definition is clear to you. What about epitope and paratope? Paratope is the site that is located on antibody at through which antigen will bind, and the site of antigen that will bind with the paratope is called epitope. Okay, so antigen will have epitope and antibody will have paratope. Is it clear to you? This is all about the structure of antibody, and this is asked in board examination under 3 marks. So once you learn, memorize this, that antibody is proteinaceous in nature, protein in nature. It is produced against antigen. Okay, antibody contains 2 light chain and 2 heavy chains. So how many polypeptide chains are present in antibody? 4 polypeptide chains. And these polypeptide chains are linked with the help of bond. That bond is called disulfide linkage. Okay. So generally one antibody contains how many paratopes?
2 paratopes.
2 paratopes. Okay. And the paratopes are the site that are present on antibody through which epitopes bind, or antibody antigen determinants will bind. So antibody will have paratope and antigen will have epitope. Is it clear to you? Okay. And basically in a structure of antibody, there are 2 terminal. One is called N terminal, another one is called C terminal. One is variable region and another one is constant region. Is it clear to you? So this is all about antibody. Some types of antibodies are there. Types of antibodies. Types of antibodies are also important for NEET. Types of antibodies. Antibodies. Generally, this antibody is also called immunoglobulins. In short, it is also called what? Immunoglobulin. Because globulin is protein, and especially gamma globulin, alpha globulin, beta globulin, and one is there that is called gamma globulin. So which type of globulin will produce antibody? What will be the answer? Gamma. Gamma globulin produces antibody. Is it clear to you? In short, antibody is written as AB. Is it clear to you? AB for antigen and AG for antigen and AB for antibody. And in short, we write antibody as immunoglobulin. It is called IG. Is it clear to you? I for immuno, G for globulin. So some types are there: IgA, IgE, IgG, IgD, and IgM. So how many types of antibodies are there? Hmm?
Right.
5. IgA, IgE, IgG, IgD, IgM. So only one antibody is there that can cross the placenta. This question is asked in NEET also. IgG can cross what? Placenta. Placenta, in reproduction you have studied about this placenta. So from mother, one antibody comes to fetus. Which antibody will come to fetus through placenta? Because only one
IgG.
antibody is there that can cross the placenta. IgG.
IgG.
Okay.
G.
So IgG antibody can cross the placenta and it will provide passive immunity to fetus. I will explain this active immunity and passive immunity to fetus. Okay. Again, this question is asked in NEET. Which type of antibody is produced during allergy? Okay. So allergy E in last E is coming, and again here antibody is IgE. So which antibody will be produced in allergy?
IgE.
IgE. So this is produced in allergy. And one antibody is there that is present in all secretion. Okay, generally this is present in secretion. Whatever the secretory material is there, that is secretion. And this question is asked, colostrum, first initial milk of mother after parturition, yellowish golden fluid. So this is IgA. It is present in colostrum. Initial golden fluid, or you can say milk after delivery of the baby, that is called parturition. So this golden fluid contains, that is called colostrum, and that contains what type of antibody? IgA. So this antibody also provide immunity to infants, newly born baby. Okay, so this is also very helpful. As well as this IgA is also present in tears. Okay, tears, saliva, vaginal secretion. Wherever there is secretory material, what type of antibody is present there? What type of antibody is present? IgA
IgE.
or E?
A.
IgE. Okay, IgA. And allergy, in allergy,
E.
IgE. Very good. Which antibody can cross placenta? Ig,
G.
Ig,
IgG.
and this is the
G.
largest antibody. Largest antibody is what?
IgM.
Which antibody is largest antibody?
IgM.
Ig, G or M?
M.
M. Okay. IgA, if we will discuss about IgA, IgA is dimer. Dimer, two, this chain like this is two chain. So now you say how many paratope will be present in IgA?
IgM 4 paratops.
Hmm?
4.
And these are interlinked through J chain. Okay. So how many paratopes is present in IgA? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So if we discuss about IgA, it is dimer. And how many paratopes will be present?
4 paratops.
4 paratopes. Okay. And next is IgM. IgM is largest antibody. And you will come to know about this IgM. Now you say how many paratopes are present in this. What do you think? How many paratopes are present in this?
10 paragraphs.
Hmm?
10.
10. Very good. This is IgM. It is largest antibody. It is called pentamer. IgA was dimer and IgM is pentamer. Pentamer, you know, five that
Five.
voices. And what about the paratope? How many paratopes will be present?
10 paragraphs.
Paratopes 10. So whenever the microbes will attack our body, this will be the first antibody to attack that pathogen or antigen because it is of large size, na, that is pentamer. So it will capture through the 10 side. It can capture because it contains 10 pairs, sorry, 10 paratopes. Okay. So paratope, it contains how many paratopes? 10 paratopes.
10 paragraphs.
Is it clear to you?
Yes.
So you can write this is produced. This is the first antibody to be produced during primary response. IgM is the first antibody that is produced during which response? Primary
Primary response.
response. And IgG, it is produced maximally during secondary response. So which antibody is produced maximally during secondary response?
IgG.
And first primary response?
IgM.
IgM. And if we will look at the percentage or count, you can say IgA is 15% of total antibody. What is the percentage of IgA? This is of how many percent? 15%. IgE, IgE and IgD, it is less than 1%. We are discussing about the concentration. IgA is 15% of total antibody. IgE is less than what? Less than 1%. And what about IgG? It is the most abundant antibody. How many percentage of IgG are present?
75%.
75%. Okay. And what about IgD? It is also less than 1%. Is it clear to you? And IgM, it is 7 to 10%. So what do you think? Most abundant antibody is
IgG.
IgG. How much percentage is there of IgG?
Of 75%.
And what about IgE? It is less than
15%. Less
1,
than 1%.
1%. And IgA,
15%.
10 or 15?
15.
15. And IgM,
7 to 10%.
7 to 10. So the most abundant is IgG and second most abundant is IgA and third is
Yeah.
IgM.
GM.
IgM. Is it clear to you? And IgA is dimer, so it have 4 paratopes. IgM is pentamer, it have 10 paratopes.
10 pair.
And what about this IgG, IgD, IgE, IgG, IgD, and one more is there, that is IgE. These are monomer. Mono means single, means yahi, this one. So how many paratopes are present in IgG, D and IgE? Hmm? How
Two
many
paratopes.
paratopes? 2
Two
paratopes.
paratopes.
Good. Is it clear to you? Epitope and paratope? Antibody, structure of antibody. Any doubt in that topic? Okay. Now, this is all about antigen, antibody, structure of antibody, types of what? Types of antibody. Now, suppose that how our immune response works when any pathogen or antigen attacks our body. Then T lymphocyte activated, or especially T helper lymphocyte. Okay. So some types of T cell is there, T helper cell, T killer cell. Okay. So one cell is there that is called T helper cell. Okay. So when any pathogen or antigen attacks our body, T lymphocyte gets activated. It gets activated. Okay. So and again, this T lymphocyte will activate which lymphocyte? Hmm? B lymphocyte.
B.
And now this B lymphocyte is, this activated B lymphocyte is differentiated into plasma cell, and one is called what? Memory cell. Is it clear to you? Plasma cell, this is also called effector plasma cell, and second one is what? Memory cell.
Memory cell.
Is it clear to you? Now this plasma cell will produce antibody. It produces what?
Antibody.
Antibodies. And memory cell, it memorizes the encounter of pathogen. Encounter of pathogen, you can say, and simply you can say nature of antigen. Nature of what? Nature of
Antigen.
antigen. Is it clear to you? So how our immune response, yeah, you can say how our immune system works. What happens first? You repeat, pathogen or antigen?
Pathogen, an antigen attacks, and then TH lymphocytes gets activated,
Hmm.
and then that
B
engine
lymphocyte get activated.
activates B lymphocyte.
Huh.
So activated B lymphocyte is classified into this two.
It will
Effect
differentiate into plasma cell and
memory
memory
cell.
cell. Memory cell will memorizes the encounter of the or nature of the pathogen, while plasma cell will produce what?
Antibody.
Is it clear to you? How our immunity or this antibody mediated immunity works? Is it clear? So this is antibody mediated immunity. And in case of cell mediated immunity, this antibody mediated immunity is basically taking place with the help of antibody that is produced by B cell. Okay. and another is CMI, that is called what? Cell
Mediated.
mediated immunity. And this cell mediated immunity will take place with the help of T lymphocyte. Okay, so humoral mediated immunity is with the help of B lymphocyte, and cell mediated immunity is with the help of what type of lymphocyte? B or T?
T lymphocyte.
T lymphocyte. So basically, T lymphocytes, this T lymphocyte is of so many types. It will discuss about the types. It is helper T cell. Helper T cell I am writing because you have to study about AIDS also. And AIDS virus affects helper T cell. And helper T cell is a type of T lymphocyte. In short, we write it as T helper cell. Is it clear to you? So this is helper T cell. And what is the function of helper T cell? It will just stimulate the B cell to produce antibody. Okay. So this helper T cell, what will it do? It stimulates B cell. B cell means B lymphocyte. Is it clear to you? To produce what? Antibody. And another one is, another function of this helper T cell is it helps natural killer. Is again we will study about killer T cell. That is also the type of T lymphocyte. We are discussing here the T lymphocyte types. So this also helps killer T cell to destroy non-self cell. Non-self cell. Is it clear to you? So what is the function of helper T cell? Firstly, it will stimulate the B cell to produce antibody, and second, it helps killer T cell to destroy the non-self cell. Now, the second T lymphocyte is killer T cell. Here I have written killer T cells. So this is also called cytotoxic or killer T cell. In short, we write it as TC. Generally, how it will work? Simply, it will kill non-self cell. But how? Because it secretes a chemical that is called perforin. Perforin. And this perforin chemical, suppose that this is cell and it is infected by antigen, okay, or this may be antigen. So what will this killer T cell will do? It secretes a chemical that is called perforin. And what perforin will do? It simply creates pores in plasma membrane. Plasma membrane of invaded cells that are invading into our body. And what will happen? Suppose that this perforin is creating pore in it. As a result, what will happen? The fluid from the surrounding will enter into it. Okay. And what will happen? When the fluid will enter into the cell, it will just swell up. And when the cell will swell up, it will just burst. And cell will be burst. It will lyse. And suppose that if this is a cell membrane of that microbes or pathogen, so simply this killer T cell will create pores in that pathogen. And what, as a result, what will happen? The fluids from the surrounding medium will enter into the cell. As a result, cell will swell and it will burst. Is it clear to you? So here, this porphyrin chemicals create pore in plasma membrane of invader cells. As a result, what happens? Water enters into the cell. And what happens? The cell will swell up and burst. Simply you can say lysis means death of what? Cell take place. That's why it is also called what? Killer T cell, because it kills the pathogen or the cells in which simply you can say the microbes are attacked. Macros means to antigen or pathogen. Is it clear to you? So this is a second type of T lymphocyte. One more is there, that is called suppressor T cell. This is not given in NCERT, but this is concept-based question through which the questions are asked in NEET examination, because you have to appear in NEET also. Okay, so according to that, you have to study about these types of T lymphocyte. So this is again suppressor T cell. So this will do what? Suppress means reduces the activity of killer T cell. So you can say function of reduces function of helper T cell and killer T cell, so that it do not work against our self antigen. Okay, so this reduces the function of helper T cell and
Killer T
killer
cell.
T cell, so that immune system do not work against self antigen. So this is the next type of T lymphocyte, and the last one is memory T cell. And you know the function of this memory T cell, it will memorizes all the things. Okay, so this is memory T cell. Is it clear to you? So this will memorize. Now, what are the types of T lymphocyte? How many types of T lymphocytes are there?
Oh.
Name.
First one, what was it? Helper T cell, and then helper T
Good.
cell, then
Killer T cell,
killer T cell, no, suppressor T cell, memory T cell.
memory
Suppressor T cell.
T cell. Okay, so this is all about B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte, and especially this cell mediated immunity, and uh, this is antibody mediated immunity. Now, one more thing is there, uh, graft rejection, you know, graft,
Transplant.
graft plants,
No, transplant.
transplant, good. So before organ transplantation, you know, if we'll discuss about this organ transplantation. So to prevent from graft rejection, graft rejection, which type of immunity is suppressed? This is a question of NEET also. Graft rejection, you know, whatever the organ that has been placed in our body. Suppose that I am yeah, suppose that one patient is there and his kidney is failed. So one donor is there, that is maybe his close relative, and the kidney has been taken from the donor, and that functional kidney is transplanted into the patient. The person may reject that transplanted kidney, and that kidney is called graft. So to prevent from graft rejection, Which type of immunity is suppressed?
Cell-mediated.
Okay. Cell-mediated immunity is suppressed. This is a question of need. Which type of immunity needs to be suppressed to prevent from graft rejection? What will be the answer? Cell-mediated
Cell-mediated.
immunity. Okay. So for this, the person has been given immunosuppressive drugs. Okay. So before transplantation, suppose that you are a doctor and one patient comes to you for organ transplantation. So before transplant, what will you do with the patient? Suppose that one donor is also there. So before transplant, tissue matching is done. Tissue matching as well as what? Blood group matching. What is done before transplantation?
And blood group.
Tissue, because tissue may be rejected by our body will consider it as a foreign, so tissue matching is also done, and tissue matching will be it will the tissue will be more closely related with the you can say relatives, twins. Okay, so the more closely the person will be related, their tissue matching will be more. Okay, so tissue matching and blood group matching is done before transplant. Okay, but after transplant, cell mediated immunity is suppressed by what? Immunosuppressive drugs. What types of drugs are given to the patient? Immunosuppressive drugs are given to suppress what type of immunity? Cell mediated immunity, and for what purpose? To prevent
Graft rejection.
graft rejection. Is it clear to you? To prevent graft rejection. So after transplantation, what types of drug you will give to patient? It is immunosuppressive drugs. One immunosuppressive drugs is cyclosporine. This you have studied in this microbes in human welfare. One chapter is there, no, microbes in human welfare. So immunosuppressive drugs, one example has been given, that is cyclosporine. What? A. Cyclosporine A is a immunosuppressive drugs that is commonly given to the patient after organ transplant to suppress what type of immunity? Cell mediated.
Cell-mediated. In 1 minute, can I have water and something?
Yeah. Actually, I want to see that 1.5 hour classes, it will be good because 2 hours is too long for you. So can we continue for 1.5 hour and next day 1.5 hour? Half. Okay, 2 hours is too long for one subject. I think so. It will be boring because in physics and chemistry you can do numericals, but in zoology you have to read continuously. Okay, and it will be too hectic for you also. So can we continue for 1.5 hour? Okay, so the classes will be of 1.5 hour daily. Whatever day, alternate day or daily basis, what do you want? Whatever you want, I will continue. Okay.
Alternated.
Okay, alternate day, okay. And the duration will be of 1.5 hours because 2 hours is too long and it will be hectic for you. It will sometimes it becomes boring also because you have to listen all the lectures only. Okay. So this is clear to you before transplant and after transplant.
After transplant.
Okay. Now, again, this acquired immunity is divided into two types. One more criteria is there for classifying it: active immunity and passive immunity. So acquired immunity, we have studied about humoral immunity and cell mediated immunity. That is the another other criteria, that is a different criteria of classification. One more criteria is there, acquired immunity, and this acquired immunity, it is of two types again. One is called active immunity, and next is passive immunity. Active immunity and what? Passive immunity.
Yes.
So, what will happen in active immunity and what happens in passive immunity? In case of active immunity, our body will produce antibody. And in case of passive immunity, the prepared antibodies are injected or somehow it comes in our body. So pre-formed antibodies comes to our body, then it is called passive immunity. And active immunity, active means our body produces antibody. It may be through the natural infection of the pathogen or it may be induced through the vaccine. Okay. So in any cases, when our body produces antibody, then it is called active immunity. And when prepared antibodies are given to the patient, then it is called, patient means when prepared antibody come to a person, then it is called what? Passive immunity.
Passive immunity.
Okay. So active immunity, it is developed when a host is exposed to antigens antibodies are produced in host body. Okay, so when will be active immunity develop? When a host is exposed to antigens, then antibodies are produced in host body. Then it is called what? Active immunity. Is it clear to you? And the next is passive immunity. 2 hours is 2 hours is good or 1.5 hour is good for you?
We have 1.5 minutes. But will we be able to complete the? I mean, these three chapters, 2 chapters. If I have to complete, then approximately how many classes will it take? Health and disease and biotechnology.
Uh,
If we
health
give
and
1.5
disease,
classes.
I think it will take 3 or 4 classes, because in one classes you will study about AIDS and cancer. Okay, and AIDS and cancer, and after then one more topic is there, that is drugs dependence or addiction.
The topics drugs and alcohol abuse, adolescence and drug abuse, and then addiction and dependence effects. These topics, whether if I read, will I be able to understand or these topics?
This
Drugs.
these topics is important for NEET also, because questions are asked from this topic. Okay, and I think biotechnology. Biotechnology, 2 chapters are there in biotechnology. One is biotechnology and application, and biotechnology principle and process, and one is application. So I think 5 to 6 hours will be for that principle and processes, because this is technical chapter. You have to study about the techniques. And in application, 3 to 4 classes of 1 hour. 4 hours is sufficient for in Akasa's we teach for that topic for 4 hours or 5 hours. That is sufficient. Okay. So you have to study this health and disease, and again that biotechnology.
Biotech.
Okay. So I should continue for 2 hours. Today, after 10, I will leave. Okay. Half an hour more. Okay. So active immunity, it is developed when a host is exposed to antigen. Then what will happen? Antibodies are produced in host body. And actually, this question is of 3 marks for your board also. 3 marks, or what is the difference between active immunity and passive immunity? That's why I'm writing here the definition. Is it clear to you? So this is active immunity. Again, in passive immunity, you can write the prior exposure to antigen is not required. Means in this case, the exposure to antigen is not required. Because why? Because antibody is not producing in our body. Antibody comes from outside. But in this case, exposure to pathogen or antigen is required because antibody is produced in our body. Our body means host body. So this is the main difference. Again, some more points are there in active immunity and passive immunity. Active immunity. Next one is, if we will discuss about the formation of antibody. In active immunity, formation of antibody is taking place in our body. So it will be slow somehow. But passive immunity, prepared antibodies are coming from outside, so it will be fast. Is it clear to you? So in active immunity, it is slow and it takes time to give its full effective response. It takes time to give its full effective response. So, which type of immunity is slow? Active immunity or passive immunity? Active. And passive immunity is fast and gives full, full effective response in short period of time. Short period of time. So, in short, you can say active immunity is slow while passive immunity is slow or fast? Fast. How active immunity is developed in our body? Because antibodies are produced in your body. So it may be through, suppose that uh, coronavirus. Suppose one person is there and the person is naturally get infected from the coronavirus. Naturally. Okay. So what will happen? The coronavirus will enter into the body and the person immunity, that immune response will take place and the person will start producing antibodies. So in this case, active immunity is there because antibodies are produced in the patient body. Okay, so this is natural. This is natural active immunity. So active immunity and passive immunity, it again classified into two types, natural and artificial. Is it clear to you? Natural, how natural? Because coronavirus is naturally infecting the person. And what about artificial? COVID vaccine is there, coronavirus vaccine. So vaccine, some strains or some forms of that coronavirus, some parts maybe that is injected into the patient. And as a result, the person will start producing antibody. So it is not through the natural infection, it is through the vaccine. Okay. So if through the vaccine our body is producing antibody, then it is artificial. And if our body is producing antibody through natural infection, then it is called natural active immunity. Is it clear to you? So again, active immunity is classified into two types. One is called natural, and if we will discuss about the types, so two types of active immunity. One is called natural active immunity. This is very important for NEET. Questions are asked from this topic. Natural active immunity. How it is produced? Through the natural infection of the microbes.
And 1 second, I'll connect the charger.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So we will discuss here about the types of active and passive immunity. Again, this active immunity and passive immunity, this has been classified into two types. Suppose for active immunity, it is natural active immunity, and the second is artificial active immunity. Is it clear to you? So natural active immunity. Suppose that, as I have already told you and given the example of coronavirus, suppose naturally you get infected with any microbes or antigen and your body starts producing antibody, then it is natural active immunity. And suppose in during your childhood you have taken so many your vaccination, you have taken so many vaccines like for BCG, for TB, tuberculosis. Okay, so if the immunity is induced through the vaccine, then it is called artificial active immunity. Is it clear to you? For same, we will classify passive immunity as natural passive immunity as artificial passive immunity. Okay, so natural passive immunity. In case of passive immunity, antibody are not produced in our body. Antibody means preformed antibody comes to the, it may comes to the fetus or infant's life. Uh, in this passive immunity, you have to learn that antibody is not produced in our body. This is not produced in our body. It comes from where? outside. Is it clear to you? So in case of this passive immunity, antibody are not producing in our body, the antibody are coming from outside. So again, we will classify this passive immunity as natural passive immunity and what? Artificial passive
That's
immunity.
it.
Okay. So during antibody discussion, I've told you about that one antibody is there that can cross the placenta. And you know that
IgG.
antibody EGH,
IgG.
IgH,
IgG.
G,
IgG.
IgG. Name is good na? IgG. So one antibody, this is the only antibody that can cross the placenta. So when we are in fetus condition, the mother provide us this antibody IgG, and this IgG comes from the mother's body. This is the only antibody that can cross the that can cross placenta. Okay, and after birth, when we were infants, okay, so when we were dependent on mother's blood, so from colostrum, one more antibody comes to our body that is called Ig. What? Which antibody is
IgA.
present in colostrum? IgA. Which antibody? IgA. So in
IgA.
this case, you are seeing that IgG and IgA, this is not preparing in our body. These are not present in our body since it is coming from the outside naturally, because you are not going to tell the placenta that please provide us this IgG. It is coming naturally, since same as in colostrum. Okay, so we are getting this IgA from our mother's milk or colostrum. So these antibody are coming naturally in our body. So this will come under classification natural passive immunity. One more type of immunity is there that is called artificial passive immunity. Suppose that one person that has been bitten, or one more cobra, snake, cobra, very poisonous snake it is. Suppose that cobra bites and bites a person, what will happen? You will say that oh, cobra bites him or her, or the person will start produce antibody naturally, and till that the person will be death will occur. Okay, so in that case also there is a need to provide artificial antibody. This antibody are injected into the patient in case of snake bite, or in case of deadly disease like tetanus. So uh, for snake bite, it is anti-snake venom. Which injection is given when a snake bites a person? Anti snake, and the snake poison is called venom. So anti snake venom, as well as one more injection, tetanus, tetanus. Suppose that we are getting cut by any sharp iron objects, then we are advised to take a tetvac injection or ATS injection. That is called anti-tetanus serum. Okay. So this ATS injection or this anti-snake venom, this comes under this type of immunity, artificial passive immunity. And this is again the important question for NEET. If you will go through the question bank, it will come, you will come to know that this question is asked so many times. Okay, so give example of artificial passive immunity. What will be the example? Anti snake venom and ATS. NTS for what? Anti tetanus, S for serum. So this injection or this contains prepared antibodies. So this contains what? Prepared antibodies. And that prepared antibodies are coming with the help of injection. It is not coming naturally. So it will come under which part of classification? Artificial, what? Artificial
Passive.
passive immunity. So, so this contains prepared antibodies. And are introduced into person artificially. Okay, so this contains prepared antibodies and are introduced into the person artificially. So these two are the example of artificial passive what? Immunity. So artificial active immunity, and this is artificial passive immunity. So artificial active immunity, simply you can write here the examples during vaccination. Which type of immunity is induced in your body through vaccination? Which type of immunity is induced?
Artificial activity.
Hmm?
Artificial
Vaccination. Vaccination. Vaccination and immunization. Artificial, active or passive? What will you say? Artificial, active
activity.
immunity. Very good. And in case of anti-snake venom, it is artificial, active or passive?
Passive.
Passive. Very good. ATS, anti-tetanus serum injection. Which type of immunity is induced? Artificial,
Passive.
passive immunity. And through IgG, it is
Uh, Natural passive immunity.
natural, passive. Very good. And IgA,
That is also natural.
natural,
Passive.
active or passive?
Passive.
Passive. So you have to learn one trick. It is tricky questions. When antibody are produced in our body, it is called active immunity. And when antibody comes to the body from outside, then it is called passive immunity. And natural and artificial, you know, artificial means with the help of a person. Vaccine, vaccination and immunization, in that case also, it are this vaccine is introduced in our body. And again, that due to that vaccine, antibodies are produced in our body. So it will come under artificial active immunity. Now the question is, what is vaccine? Do you know what is vaccine? One more thing is there, that is the topic is vaccination and immunization. So when questions comes like differentiate between active immunity and passive immunity, you can write it as point wise and you will score full marks. Is it clear to you? So one more topic, one today we will discuss one more topic, that is vaccination and immunization. Vaccination and immunization. Generally, this is based on memory based immunity, we can say vaccination and immunization. Because in your childhood, you have taken one vaccine that is called BCG vaccine. Have you any idea about BCG vaccine? We had discussed like bacillus, that is TB vaccine. TB, you know, tuberculosis disease. And for prevention of TB, you are we have been vaccinated from this BCG vaccine. Okay, so BCG vaccine, you have taken BCG vaccine, and that vaccine generally contains the pathogen of TB bacteria. You can say TB bacteria, that contains TB bacteria. And at that time, your body started producing antibody, and that time there was primary response. And suppose that we may have come in contact with the TB bacteria so many times, because TB bacteria does not know that you have taken the vaccine of BCG or TB vaccine. So you may have come in contact with that TB bacteria. It may have entered into your body, but your body memory B cell and T cell, that memorizes this pathogen this antigen have comes one more time earlier, and we had produced such a type of antibodies. Again, our immune system will produce huge number of antibodies, and that is called secondary response. It is fast response. But how? Because your body has memorized, your cells has memorized the encounter of first encounter, you can say. Okay, so this vaccination or immunization, basically it is based on memory based immunity. So vaccination and immunization, you can say this is based on the property of memory of the immune system. Memory of the immune system. And what is the mechanism? How vaccination works? Okay, so in your childhood you have taken vaccine, but still till now it is working. What is the mechanism behind this process? So we will study about this vaccination program. What is the mechanism of vaccination? Sometimes this question is asked in board examination also under 3 marks. So this is mechanism of vaccination. Mechanism of vaccination. How this will work? So simply vaccine. And what is vaccine? It is preparation of antigen or pathogen. It may be whole organism, or it may be the weakened or attenuated form of microbes. Okay, because suppose that in vaccine, for example, COVID vaccine, functional coronavirus is present in vaccine, then what will happen? We may be suffer when that vaccine will be injected in our body. We may suffer from corona. So that pathogen is not in its full form, means full active form. It is simply weakened or attenuated form. Okay. So vaccine contains simply the microbes or pathogen that you can say that causes the disease, but the pathogen is in not its original active form. It is in weakened form, or you can say attenuated weakened form that cannot cause disease. So this vaccine, and this vaccine is nothing but it is antigenic proteins, antigenic proteins of pathogen. It means that what a vaccine contains. So many vaccines are available in market, but the question is the vaccine contains what? So the vaccine contains antigenic protein of what? Pathogens. It may contain antigenic protein only, or it may be inactivated or weakened pathogen. The pathogen may be what? Functional or weakened?
Weaken.
Weakened. So inactivated or weakened pathogen. So simply this vaccine is injected into the body. This is injected into the body. Then what will happen? The body produces antibodies. Body produces antibodies against the antigen. So
in NEET, in zoology, usually students lose marks in which chapter in zoology?
What in
In
NEET?
NEET exam, in NEET, in zoology, in which chapter do students lose marks like usually if they lose
Which
marks in
chapter?
zoology? In which chapter do they lose marks?
Lose marks in
Like,
zoology. Every
in
chapter. If
every
you've
chapter?
not prepared chapters, then every chapters you can lose marks in every chapter, because all chapters are important. Especially this health and disease is very important for NEET, because in medical college also we will study about the disease. Okay, and some more chapters are there like movement and locomotion of class 11. So many things are there that you have to learn or memorize. So movement and locomotion, and one more chapter is there, that is nervous control and coordination. And so many questions becomes negative in chemical control and coordination, hormone chapter, because in that chapter you have to learn all the things. What are the hormones? What are the disease? So there is chances of negative marking in that also. Okay, reproduction chapter is easy, but in case in reproduction part, hormonal regulation is important in menstrual cycle or spermatogenesis and oogenesis. That is important, and contraceptive methods in reproductive health, that is easy chapter. You can score by learning one or two times. And next, evolution. Evolution is also very lengthy chapter. No, and this one is very important for NEET also. And biotechnology, 3 to 4 questions come from biotechnology. 3 to 4 questions. 4 question means there is chances of getting 16 marks, either positive 16 marks or 16 minus or plus 4, that is for negative. So losing 20 marks. So there is some possibilities of getting negative marks in every chapter. So you have to read carefully all the chapters. Okay. So this would be, I will complete this topic. So what will happen when the vaccine is injected into the body? Body produces what? Antibodies against that antigen. And why? To neutralize that pathogenic activity or pathogenicities, or you can say that disease causing as ability. So this body produces antibodies against the antigen to neutralize what? Neutralize the pathogen. And what will happen? Then there will be generation of memory B cell and T cell. Generation of memory B and T cells. This is the principle of immunization. So there is generation of memory B and T cells. For what? Which recognizes the pathogen. Recognizes the pathogen quickly on next exposure of antigen by massive production of antibodies. Antibodies. So this is the basically this is the principle behind vaccination or immunization. So what is the principle behind immunization? That during your childhood, when you have taken vaccine, the vaccine contains the attenuated form of the microbes. Your body produces antibodies against that antigen. Again, there is a generation of B cell and T cell, which will do what? That will memorize the nature of the pathogen. And for further next, if suppose that if next exposure to the same microbes will take place, then our body especially memory B cell and T cell will recognizes the nature of the pathogen, and as a result huge amount of antibodies will be produced, and that antibody will neutralize the pathogenicity, or you can say the antigenic property of the antigen. Okay, and our body will be recovered soon. So this is the principle of vaccination and immunization. And the first time this vaccination is used in that Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner that used first time vaccine. Okay, so this is vaccination or immunization program. So many vaccines are available in market. Hepatitis B vaccine, no, tuberculosis for that BCG vaccine. So many vaccines are there. One more topic is there, that is allergy, and allergy definition also comes in board examination. Allergy. And allergy, in allergy, one antibody is produced. What is the name of that antibody? IG?
E.
E. Allergy. E. Allergy. And which antibody is produced?
IG.
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 So in next class, we will discuss about this allergy. Autoimmunity we already have completed. And one more topic is there, that is lymphoid organ. Okay. So in next class, when you will come, uh, go through this topic, lymphoid organ, allergy, and primary lymphoid organ, secondary lymphoid organ, and two diseases are there, that is AIDS and which disease? AIDS and
Cancer.
so
Cancer.
to cancer you have to. Okay. Okay then. Good night. Notes I will share on your WhatsApp. Okay. Okay. Good night.